and welcome to the Real Biz Life Chronicles, where we discuss all things business, branding, and life. I'm your host, Tracy Fryer. My guest today is a mindset coach for entrepreneurial women in business and a sound bath healer. Mixing her spiritual knowledge with business mindset, she coaches her clients through the pillars of mindset, energy, and embodiment so they can become the aligned, magnetic, and confident business owners they desire to be. Anna Hastie, welcome.
Hello. Thank you so much, Tracy.
Thank you for being here. I'm looking forward to our conversation, especially after I was the guest on your podcast. It was awesome.
I know. Our conversation just flowed when I interviewed you. So no doubt this is going to be another fun episode.
Yeah, definitely. And I'd love to know, was there a life experience or something that called you into becoming a mindset coach for women in business?
Yeah, I would have to say COVID. I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that had that moment during that rather tumultuous, hectic time of their lives where you're just like, you know what, that no longer serves me. And I feel like this is the direction that I want to go in. I witnessed a lot of people actually during that time birth their businesses. And it's, one of probably the positive things that came out of that time. For me personally, I was already working for myself. I'd established a very successful, thriving massage therapy and energy healing business. And I sort of had this sense and awareness kind of leading to COVID that while I loved what I was doing and I was amazing at what I was doing, I had wait list of clients, people raved about me. I was never not working. And if COVID hadn't happened, I would have definitely become that ideal in my mind, the goal of becoming a six-figure therapist.
Yes.
But there was something in the back of my mind that said, again, this isn't forever. And I had that feeling actually years and years and years and years ago when I was in my 20s working in corporate. And I'd often sit at my desk going, this isn't forever. Like, this just isn't forever. Don't worry, it's not forever. So again, this whole feeling came up of like, this isn't forever, but you do need to look at how you might be wanting to change this, because I felt that internally I was on a runaway train and I just didn't know how to hit the brakes and stop it or slow it down. Like, I could feel business was building all the time and there was a momentum, and potentially I could have been facing burnout as a therapist because back then I wasn't really probably as present or mindful of it's okay to have a little bit of an extra day off here and there, or just to have the morning off or anything like that. Like, I was very much focused in this world of, and I think it's because I was trained like that from in my early days as a massage therapist. And I worked in day spas where you were basically there from this time to that time and you saw all the clients and you worked hard to reach results and, meet the businesses' KPIs and things like that. But I sort of had this mindset of like downtime was not a positive thing for me. But I felt myself being on this continuous runaway train. I didn't know how to hit the brakes. I didn't know where the emergency stop was to be able to just slow it down and just sort of just reflect and go, all right, now what? So COVID coming into my life was literally like the brakes on the train. And in that moment, it was just like, okay, well, if it's not healthy for me to work for myself and endanger myself or my own health and well-being, or endanger the health and well-beings of others, because, massage is very face-to-face. It's very, it's tactile. You're in people's energy space, breathing the same air, all that kind of stuff. Hygiene, obviously during that time is paramount. I'm like, hey, well, I'm just going to take a break. I'm just going to step away and I'm just going to let things just stop. And it was a real kind of relief that it was forced. And I think somewhere in that time, I actually remember like going down to the beach. I rode my bike down to the beach and I was sitting on the beach. It was 2:00 in the afternoon. And like, during COVID, there wasn't a lot of people around because obviously social distancing and things like that. And I was just sitting at the beach going, so this is what it's like to take that break in the middle of the day and do nothing. And it was a really weird, surreal moment where I was like, why didn't I ever allow myself to do this in the first place? So during this whole COVID time, I had this feeling of maybe it's time to look into doing something else. Maybe this is your break to explore other things. And I'd always been fascinated by mindset, so to speak, or NLP, neuro-linguistic programming. What I was really fascinated with, without having studied any of that, was people's beliefs about themselves. And I had a lot of clients that would come and see me and they would say, oh, I'm not very good at this because, or I can't do that because. And often I'd sit there and go, but is that true? Or is that something that you've just created as a belief and now it's manifested into yourself and you live by that? Yeah. And I'd often be sitting there going, internalizing, going, but you could change that. I'm sure if you changed your belief, you would change your reality. You would change your world. You would change your body. You would change your physical health, things like that. Anyway, so I was listening to a podcast, and that interview was for Reese from Yes Supply Coaching Method, which is a Canadian life coaching program, or a life coaching program that's based from Canada, but it's a global type certificate, that kind of thing. And I thought, you know what, that sounds cool. I've got time. I'm going to invest in that. And so I enrolled, and then it was like at that time a program where it was like you're self-paced. You just take yourself through the program, which, knowing myself, we all know that, right? We all, depending on your form of study, your ability to motivate yourself, we sign up for things. Do we get them finished? Do we find the motivation? Like that kind of thing. Are we staying on track? Is somebody cracking the whip, or are we cracking our own whip? Anyway, an email came out from the company saying, we're going to be offering a round which is specifically for those in the Asia Pacific region. It's going to be an intensive online. So it'll start on this day and it'll finish like 5 days later, or however many days it was. It'll be from this time. And I just went, oh, I'm going to sign up for that, because I don't think it was too much of an extra cost, but it was just, I knew it would help me fast track to where I wanted to go, and it would keep me accountable, because you have to do the pre-work and you'd have to do the work on the day and then do the final tests and everything like that. So I knew it was probably a better direction for me rather than a self-paced program. Little did I know that it was actually their first round of ever offering that. So it was an incredible experience to be part of that. But it was so successful. Like, I learned so much in that time. I worked, I learned things about myself in that time, which you do in any kind of training or professional development. It always comes back in a reflection on yourself, right? And I got to the end of it and I was like, that was amazing. I love that. And that's where I want to go. Like, I can see myself being more in this direction. This makes me happy. And I had, I guess, then I sort of sat down and thought, well, which direction do I want to go in? Do I want to support people in life coaching, which can be a broad multitude of avenues and things like that? Or is there an area that I feel more drawn to? And I think from running my own business, and I can honestly say, never ever thought I would run my own business. Oh, really? Never ever thought I would work for myself. Never. Like, if someone had, if my future self had told my 18-year-old self finishing high school, one day, Anna, you're going to run your own business and it's going to be blah, 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 I'd be like, you're kidding me, right? Like, that, I can't do that. Like, no. Never thought I'd run my own business. But since working as a solopreneur in this vastly dynamic entrepreneurial space, I was like, I want to support other women in mindset coaching for business. Like, I love all these ins and outs of the mindset with how we operate and how we run and how we make our business successful, but how important mindset is, because I had that revelation of, actually, the only way I got myself to having a successful, thriving massage therapy business was working through my mindset. Like, I did at the very start, didn't even know what mindset was, didn't even know that there was, like, that's a whole thing that you can tap into and help boost your own confidence and empowerment and self-esteem and work through any fears or blocks. I just had, like, literally a handful of affirmations and the belief that if someone else can do it, I can do it too. And that was literally what carried me through, along with I did at the time a coaching program with a company called Massage Champions, and they're based here in Australia. And they specifically coach massage therapists, physiotherapists, chiropractors, anybody in that holistic realm into creating a successful and thriving business. So I did kind of their practical steps, but what really, I feel, turned my business into what I wanted was through my mindset. And I was like, well, if that's evidence of working on my mindset and my beliefs, and just knowing that if if other people can do it, I can do it too. All those kind of things. Without even knowing what NLP is, without even knowing what hypnosis is, or EFT tapping, or all the other things that can be incorporated now into mindset coaching, that's what I want to do, because I just love it. I love working for myself. I love the ins and outs of it. And I love the mindset that goes along with the strategy or the foundations or the formula or the processes that you create within your business to get you to build and have that business of your dreams. So that is literally the point. COVID was the point when I went, right, this is where things are going to change. This is what I would love to do. And that was, I would say, the significant I don't even know how many months it was in there. Maybe it was like 3 months in there that I was like, all right, it's all changing. So came out of COVID and thought, how's this going to look now? And I would say it's been a bit rough and ready from the from the start. I was still like, okay, I'm still going to work as doing massage therapy because that's still my bread and butter. It's still an income. But on the side, I'm going to start building these other aspects of my business and slowly be able to ease myself out of massage and then solely focus on the mindset coaching and then later the sound bath healing as well.
So much of what you said I can resonate with, because I also started Design Studio Perth July 2020. So I love that we have that in common, because COVID also made me think, like, what am I doing with my life? You realize that life could just change in an instance. And for factors that are outside of your control, we spend majority of our life at work. The other thing that I love that you mentioned was how you owned your space in the massage therapist role that you had. You said I was great. My phone was ringing. I just love that, because most people will underplay themselves and almost 100%. Downplay themselves instead of just owning it. So I absolutely love that you did that.
Yeah, thank you. I think that was one thing that came away when I started as massage therapy was, and it kind of really, I'd have to say, annoyed me, to say it politely, really irked me when people would say, and I kind of now look at it and go, all right, no, they were probably just asking me, being friendly, because maybe they didn't know what else to say. But at the time, it really annoyed me when they would say, oh, are you busy? So are you busy? Like, how's work going? Are you busy? Like, you're doing all right, was kind of like what I felt like was the underlying thing, because let's face it, probably back in the day, massage therapists were deemed as those hippie woo-woo people with threadbare moth-eaten jumpers who lived on, lentils and air and never made money, right? It was, and yet nowadays I would say you could obviously see there's been a revolution in the health and wellbeing space, and people are now seeing how paramount massage is, or other alternative therapies alongside their own other forms of healthcare. And that's what I think Massage Champions was championing us to do, was raise your prices, look at how you're charging your worth, your time, all the ins and outs of what it comes to creating a successful massage therapy business, and know that you are deserving of that amount of money because you are working really hard. Massage isn't just any flaky kind of certificate these days.
No, it's not.
You're a remedial massage therapist. You do have to now meet like certain standards and regulations. And that all came out quite strictly within COVID. Private healthcare has changed. So now they have stricter regulations on who and who isn't issuing receipts and how receipts are issued. So it's a whole professional industry, not entirely regulated. It's not under a government body in any sorts, but it has this now, I would say, a foundation that a massage therapist can just be as successful as a physiotherapist or an osteo or a chiro or anybody else, a psychologist, because what they do is just as paramount and as needed as any other industry. So, I think I came into doing massage therapy in a time when people were seeing it as less as a luxury, less of a holiday spa, thing, to being like, this is solving my backache problems and my lifelong shoulder tension and, all the even like the niches that spread out into the massage therapy industry, they're like and how much it's needed. So every time coming back to that part that irked me, every time someone said, oh, so you're busy, you got lots of clients, and I'm like, I'm fully booked, mate. I got a wait list. Don't you know who I am?
Definitely, yeah, totally. I even find nowadays that word busy, it's like people almost, they ask if you're busy, and then people say, yes, I'm busy, but I'm sometimes wonder if someone is actually busy, or we're just running around like headless chickens, like busy with stuff that's not a productive use of our time. And I find I've actually become quite adverse to the words. I always try and say, oh, it's been productive, or I've been really focused, because I think we all just throw that word around so much.
Absolutely. And I feel like, I think you've said something there in terms of we all have a different version of busy, but we like to say we're busy because we want to see that we're it's like we're holding space, and that we're, that we've got a purpose, and that this is all going to work out okay, or it is working out okay, and that people aren't going to see us as being as a failure if we ever said like, oh yeah, it's been a bit slow this week. Because if you say something like particularly back in the massage days, if I said, oh, it's been a bit slow this week, people are like, oh yeah, and for me personally, I don't like being sucked into that kind of mindset. It's like, you don't need to know whether I'm busy or not. Like, life is great. I'm earning money. I can go on holidays. I can pay my bills. I'm still alive, and I don't have to eat lentils. So,
or air.
Yeah, exactly. Or just breathe air.
And I'd love to know, what are some of the most popular, I guess, mindset roadblocks that women face?
Yeah, that's such a great question. I would definitely say imposter syndrome is definitely one of them. That feeling of whether or not they know enough to be able to share their skills, their knowledge, their talent, run their business, operate in whatever way. There's that feeling of, maybe I need to know one more thing, or I'm not ready yet, or someone else knows more than me. So comparisonitis is another one as well.
Yeah.
But definitely imposter syndrome, that feeling of, I don't know if I can be as good as that person, or go to the next step within my business, or charge that much because I don't know XYZ, or I don't know enough, or I haven't had the amount of, like, what is it, 10,000 hours or something to master something, or
the 10,000 hours. Yes.
It's like, who created 10,000 hours anyway? Like, where did that come from?
I think it was some guy, I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah, exactly. You have the 10,000 hours because it was 5, but we had to raise it, right? Because too many people are marketing things at 5,000. We make it 10.
Precisely.
Yeah. So imposter syndrome, I think, is definitely one of the biggest ones, where women in particular, I feel we do slip into that easy place of comparisonitis, or downplaying ourselves, because we are still exploring our self-worth, our value, the fact that we can fill up and hold space in an industry of whatever it is, and that we are, and that really at the end of the day, you know enough. You probably know more than enough than what you're crediting yourself for. But it's, I guess, in some ways, when you do work for yourself as well, there's no one there that's really sort of like, I could say, what I'm trying to compare it to is like, no one's really sitting there going, so we're going to just go and do your annual performance review, and we're just going to see like where you need some professional development, where there's maybe some holes or gaps or challenges or things that you've succeeded in. Like, nobody's really taking you aside to do that. Like, it's all within
there's no accountability.
No, exactly. That's a great word. So yeah, there's no sort of accountability or sort of someone to reflect that back to, unless you get, the rave reviews from your clients, and the testimonials, and the repeat customers and clients and things like that. So I feel like imposter syndrome is definitely one of them. Comparisonitis, so constantly comparing yourself to the rest of the world, and believing that they're far better than what you're doing, and that someone else is achieving far more greater things and bigger things than what you are, and you wish you were further along, and all that kind of, things that we like to berate ourselves over, rather than celebrate.
I still do that. Try not
where
to,
we've come. Yeah. Celebrate how far we've come, what we've achieved, what we've established, and what we've done. And I would probably say that element of procrastination versus perfectionism. So we're sitting in this place of, I can't do it because, again, it probably follows and ties into not being good enough, but procrastinating on something because we've not allowing ourselves the belief and the, I guess, the dream to really come through, that we can embody, basically, we can be and have that life that we want based on the work that we're being rewarded for. So we're building a life, we're building a job, we're building a business, we're building a lifestyle And, we all sit there, right? We all, like, at the end of the year, mid-year, somewhere in between, we all have like those moments where we do our journaling over visualization over our dream life, our dream day. I mean, ChatGPT has now got this trend going. I don't know if you've heard of it, but,
no, which
where
one?
you type in, I saw it on Instagram. Someone posted like, oh, I just followed the trend that has been going around where you type into ChatGPT and your ideal day based on, like, you say, please write me a script of my ideal day based on, and you basically list out all the things that you'd love to have in your ideal day from the time you wake up to the time you go to bed. And then apparently it spits out this amazing story or scenario of that. And from there, you can just read it daily or create a, like, I don't know, an affirmations around it or something like that. It was a whole thing. We probably all dabbled in that at some stage too, or maybe if you haven't, you can know.
Highly recommend.
Highly recommend. But yeah, like, we all take those moments to dream and visualize and set the intentions and hold it within our heart. But how much do we allow ourselves to move forwards to actually achieve that? Like, to actually believe that it is possible and that we can have that. We see multitude of people achieving those things. We see that all the time. Through various avenues of work and business, but actually allowing themselves to, like, go, all right, I can have this. So I'm going to pull my finger out. I'm going to start moving, and I'm going to stop hiding and stop seeing that these things are bigger than what they need to be, and actually just start working through it. Now, that sounds very simple to say. When we're in the thick of things, there's always like a lot of other thoughts and emotions and feelings that get caught up and around procrastination, as well as that feeling that everything has to be perfect and whatever. So that's where, like, I feel like mindset coaching or some sort of unraveling of those stories is really important, because they're just something that's really just holding you back from moving forwards, so you can have that successful life that ChatGPT is going to spit out for you.
And to be honest, I think it is actually as simple as what you put it, because I've done a lot of mindset work with my mentor and business advisor the last 3 years. And I reached the stage where I was like, well, Tracy, you can either sit back, make excuses, lie on the couch, eat that bag of crisps and not go to gym, or you can either just stop being a little bitch, get up at 5 a.m. and go for the run and just do whatever it takes to actually get it done. And one thing I want to touch on is that I think people underestimate, change is hard. What would you suggest to someone who is trying to make that change? What would be the best way to go to kind of say, right, this is enough. I have to get up at 5, or I have to make space in my life to make those changes that I need to make in order to, achieve the life of my dreams. What would your advice be to someone in that space, Anna?
I would say, if you feel like you're the kind of person who can do it all on your own, then, and you're going to keep yourself accountable, make a plan, make a process, and stick to it. Knowing that things can be flexible, things can be changed, things can be altered, however it needs to be. But if you're the kind of person who's like, all right, I draw the line, I'm not going to live this way, I'm not going to keep running in the same cycles. What is it that I need to change or shift or move forwards in? Do the things like find the empowerment books, listen to the podcasts, such as something like this. Write out some affirmations, like, do something that you feel like can self-empower yourself. But if you're the kind of person who knows that sounds great, but you're not really retaining the information or taking action on those things, then I would highly recommend finding someone to support you, and know that that in itself can be some of the best investment, not only within your business, but yourself. Because I personally know, and this year I reached out to 2 different coaches, because I saw some gaps in my own business, and I thought, enough is enough. I'm not going to play small in that area anymore, and I want to invest in this so I can expand my knowledge and feel more confident in what I'm doing. And I also want to get the other aspect of the coach that I have recently been working with is mindset coaching as well, because even though I am a mindset coach and I know how I can work through these things, sometimes you just need someone who's in your corner but can look at things in a different light to support you and get you moving forwards. And I have to say, since I invested in the mindset coaching, like, there is so much that's happened where I just feel so much lighter, freer, more confident, more at ease. And I feel like my nervous system's a little bit more regulated. I feel like I've made some internal shifts, because let's face it, whatever you work on within your business has a ripple out effect into your personal life. Whatever you work on in your personal life ripples out into your business and other areas of life, right? If we look at that big spider web of life, you got relationships and family and friends and money and career and blah, 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 blah. So whatever you work on within yourself ripples out. And I honestly feel like that has been some of the best investment and of my time and finances, because I know it's taking me somewhere and it's helping me get to the next step where I'm seeing my business growing and shifting and changing. It's helping me get there. So I feel like if you're the kind of person who's very self-empowered, find a course, like do like one of those self-paced courses, find something that you can do and work within your own time, but help support you shift through some of those things that are holding you back. Go on a retreat even, who knows? But if you're the kind of person who knows that sounds lovely, but it's okay to have accountability. Like, I love accountability. That's why I did that. This streamlined intensive, right? I love accountability. So if you're that kind of person, then reach out and find someone who can help you navigate your current situation to get you through into the next step, so you can get to that next goal, that next level, that next place within your business that has felt difficult to get to, has felt like it's been out of reach, or you've been stagnated and you haven't been able to move forwards. Whatever's happening, that would be my two kind of avenues of going to sort of start working on your own mindset in whatever's happening around within yourself and your business.
Yeah, and I think before actually I'd worked with a business coach or a mindset coach or mentor, I actually underestimated the impact it would actually have in my life. And you touched on a really important point there, that everything is so like intertwined. So if you in an optimal state, like your business is going to go up another level. And, if your health is in a optimal state, it's going to affect everything around you as well. And the other thing I love about having a mentor is that sometimes you'll think you're going to have a session on one thing, but then they kind of like peel back all the layers. And actually afterwards you realize it's about a completely different thing. And there's stuff you hadn't even thought about. And again, your whole mind is just open to a whole nother world. And it really just helps you, level up in every sense of the word.
Absolutely. I feel like for me personally, and this is why I think I love mindset coaching and supporting women in business, is that whatever I've worked on within my business has been really unraveling deeper layers of myself, because I feel like there are things that happen in our life that we need to shift. We need to focus on, and they are the things that come up because that is where the healing needs to occur. So if I was to reflect on, I'm just trying to think of an example within my own experiences where I'm just trying to think. I would say like money, let's say money mindset. Money mindset within business is
huge.
Pretty much a big one, right? It's huge. So working on myself and my own relationship with money, my own mindset, my own beliefs that had been formed around money has actually helped me as a businesswoman to feel really great at opening my bank account and looking at my figures, and to knowing when I need to raise my prices because I've up-leveled in some way, or I'm no longer able to, like I've reached a new ceiling and I need to I need to raise my prices because I need to, I don't know, be able to support my family. There's more things that come through, whatever it is. So I feel like personally, in my own experience, business for me has been the avenue and the vehicle for doing a lot of inner personal development work. Some people outside the business world, their inner development work may be through relationships, where they're constantly attracting the same kind of partner, the same kind of relationship scenario over and over and over again. And it's not getting any better. It's not getting, their life isn't improving over it, or it's just the same pattern and cycles over again. So for them, perhaps it's relationships. Relationships is one of the biggest things that they need to work on personally, that helps heal aspects of themselves, but it's coming through that avenue of being in relationships. Family, for other people, it could be health and well-being. Like we know so many people, I'm sure, that have had like health scares or crisis, and that has been the avenue and the wake-up call for them to do some inner healing and inner development work. So I feel those I honestly feel like not everybody is geared to run their own business, and that's fine. But for those of us who really want to and do, that is your vehicle for the inner development work. And that's where I feel mindset coaching can help support that and drive that as well in a way that's, you know, doesn't necessarily feel like therapy, you know.
Yes, definitely.
But as you would know, Tracy, and you said before, like the shifts and changes that you do within yourself have that ripple out effect into,
it does.
as I like to say, the world around you, you know, and all those other aspects of life.
And one thing I wanted to ask you, so I'm backtracking a little bit. You mentioned when you were working as a massage therapist that there was a voice inside you that kind of was telling you that this wasn't permanent. Was it like an intuition as such? Because I'm just thinking there might be listeners out there who might be feeling the same way. Perhaps we could help identify what that sort of was, a voice or like an intuition, or perhaps there's something within themselves. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say it was definitely intuition. It was definitely a part of me, like an inner, deeper part of me. It wasn't my ego. Like I'm able to establish these days what is ego, which is sometimes that flighty, chatty, heightened anxiety kind of voice versus this reassurance, this inner knowing, and this deeper part of myself that has like reason and I guess stability in its messaging or its messages. I wouldn't say it was like, you know, I felt like an angel on my shoulders or it was a message from God or from source or anything, but it was just this deep inner knowing. And I would definitely put it towards intuition, that connection to that soul level or higher self of just being like, this isn't forever. Like, this isn't what I am here to do in this lifetime. I know I'm here to do more or something different or something greater. And I don't know what it is right now, but there is something more. And I just had that feeling way back in my early 20s when I'd sit at a desk and I'd look at a computer screen and I'd be like, there has to be more. There has to be more. I don't believe this is my life. And then having that same thought and kind of process or feeling come through when it came to massage. It's like, this is great. And I guess it's somewhere in there as well, I had this message come through, however it came through, that massage was a stepping stone. Because when I remember and I reflect on pouring through what would have been the equivalent of like a university or a tertiary education guide. I don't know if they still exist, but my mum dumped one of them on my desk when I was 18 and said, you better choose something because you're not going to have a year off and do sweet FA. You have to go out and choose something to study, right? And it was almost like a phone book full of every single subject you could study and pathway in university and how many credit points you need for it, whatever. I was on the natural therapy pages, which is a little bit like the yellow pages meets tertiary education guide. and basically I just poured through like every single modality there was, read up on how you would qualify in that, and kept coming back to massage going, well, this seems like a really easy entry and stepping stone. And I think that had always been sort of this underlying message in my life, is that this is just a stepping stone to something else. This is just a stepping stone or the open door, or it's the pathway to get you out of that corporate world and start moving to something that feels more in alignment. And I think spirit, higher self, my intuition was just telling me that you've done this for a while now and you're great at it, but now it's time to think about changing. Like, this is your time to, it wasn't necessarily a crossroads either. I mean, I could have stayed and shut my doors for my business for a little bit and then reopened when it was, the green light said you could. But I think in that time as well, there was that deeper knowing of like, I'm kind of done with this. Like, I'm a bit tired of working in this realm, and I'm ready for something more. I'm ready for something bigger. So I think that's what came through. But I would definitely say it would be more of that intuitive knowing. It's like a deeper, reassuring kind of voice that's very calm and very solid, I would say, in a way. And it doesn't have that flighty, anxiety, like high energy kind of voice or vibe as what I would know would be like my ego when it's like just ticking off over something over there, like having a good old time. So yeah.
And Anna, do you believe in signs as such? Like, the universe always provides signs when you are trying to make those life-changing decisions?
100%. 100%. Like, there are so many times, like if I can give an example recently, not necessarily in business, but in my personal life. So my husband and I were on the Sunshine Coast on a holiday, and we've kind of been thinking about potentially like making a sea change from the West Coast to the East Coast one day, not necessarily tomorrow, but eventually maybe one day. And we were driving around the Sunshine Coast, and I said to him, let's ask the universe for a sign. Let's ask the universe for a sign if this is like the area or region where we could see ourselves moving to. And mind you, for your listeners, like I live in Broome, which is on the in a remote regional northwest town
beautiful
of Western Australia. We're like 2.5 hours flying north of Perth, and it's like an island paradise, literally.
It is
fabulous weather. Love the community. It was my sea change from Melbourne, and I've been here for 11 years. But, you know, every now and again we talk about maybe what else is out there. And I do feel like there will be a time when we do leave Broome, because I know within myself there'll be that sense of expansion that's needing to come through. Anyway, going back to the signs. So I said, right, let's just put it out to the universe. If this is somewhere where we need to be, let's have a sign. Like, I don't know what it's going to be, but we will know a clear sign that this is an area or a region we're welcome and open to explore. And I would have to say the universe clearly said no. Actually, I could probably give you another one as well. It's really fun too.
Yeah. But, I love it.
And actually said no, this isn't for us, because here in Broome, we're in a small town. There's no traffic lights, only roundabouts, and it only takes like less than 10 minutes, 7 minutes max to get anywhere, right?
Right.
And
what a pleasure.
in the Sunshine Coast, we were heavily relying on the Google Maps or the Apple iPhone map guy. And we started using Google Maps lady, and we kept taking all these wrong turns, taking the wrong exit, getting lost, having to do like massive big like loops to get back to where we were. And we just blamed it on her, going, well, she's just obviously not a very good app, and we're not going to use that. So next day we used my husband's iPhone and used the map guy, and he said, you know, because the map guy is so much better. It's a man. He's got I'm like, yeah, whatever. Like,
whatever.
Have whatever you want. I said, I'm an Android. He's iPhone. We can see where our lives go. Anyway, still managed to get lost. Still managed to be, even with like the group that we were hanging out with, if we left first, we were still the last to arrive. Like, we still got lost, took the wrong turn, took the wrong exit, just didn't know where we were. Went back to the Google Maps lady, and we thought, no, she's redeeming herself. She was helping us this one particular day. We thought we were winning. Somehow we still managed the wrong exit. We still went in the wrong direction. We still had to do a massive 5-minute detour. And it was like, okay, I think that if this was a place we were meant to be, we would have found it really easy to navigate, regardless to the size and the population, because obviously it would probably been about, I don't know, 5 times bigger than Broome anyway. But we would have found it easy to navigate, and we wouldn't have found that we were getting lost so many times. So I said to him, I think this is a clear indication. We can come here for a holiday, but that's as far as it's going. And then just thinking about driving, a few years ago, it was during my first pregnancy, and my husband and I were debating as to whether or not we'd invest in what was it at the time? Oh, we were debating as to whether or not, I mean, this is so big, you know, we invest in like what was it? It was an Isuzu truck that had been sort of dual cab, but semi converted into like not quite a caravan, but a self-contained canopy, you know, had all the bells and whistles, but you could take it traveling. You could probably hook it up to a caravan and that kind of thing, because again, we love the idea of doing a lap of Australia. So we're kind of thinking of, this could, you know, would we want to invest? Like, the guy we wanted to sell it for $100,000, and we're like, are we ready to invest $100,000 in a massive big rig like this? And I know it's my husband's dream, but I said, well, let's ask the universe for a sign, because we weren't really sure. It looked great, and we could see how amazing this would be. And we were watching a lot of other people on YouTube that were influencing us, you could easily say, to like invest in one of these trucks, you know, and they're pretty heavy duty. They've got great towing capacity, all those kind of things. Anyway, I said, well, let's just ask for a sign. So we got in the cab, and my husband was driving it, and the guy who was selling it was in the back giving him instructions as to how the gears work, because apparently there's more than what you think and all that kind of stuff.
Oh my God.
And I sat in the front.
That's terrible to me.
I know. I'm like, I'm going to need like lessons, right? I think I even have to upgrade my license to drive this thing.
Oh my
Anyway,
goodness.
they had one of those suspension seats, so that, you know, if you go over bumps, it just literally like glides you over, and you don't feel the jarring corrugations or anything. We went for a trip. We didn't even take it off-road. We just went literally for a trip down to what we call the port. So we went, you know, maybe a 15-minute drive down and back, did a couple of laps, whatever. I had never felt so nauseous sitting in the front seat of a vehicle in all my life.
Yeah. Wow.
And I got out and I said, that's not for us. I said, I don't know whether it's pregnancy related or if that was how I would feel if we owned that. I don't think that's for us.
Oh, no.
Having said that later on that morning, a girlfriend messaged me and she said, I'm going to go and have a look at these houses I'm thinking of buying. Do you want to come with me? And I'm like, sure, why not? Like, nothing else to do this morning. Why not? Let's go. And Francois was, my husband was like, I said to him, do you want to come and have a look at these houses? Because at the same time, you know, do we buy this massive truck or do we invest in a house? Like, I'm pregnant. We can't live in our rental forever. What are we going to do? Right. So Francois was like, oh, no, I won't. And then he goes, you know what? Yes, I'll come. So we go and we tag along. We look at 2 houses with her. And, you know, it's just nice just to fun and look at houses and think about what we might want, that kind of thing. And then we said to the agent, oh, have you got anything else? We might as well just tag along. And he goes, oh, I've got one more listing. It's my last one for the morning. It's over on Taylor Road, blah, blah, blah. He goes, I don't think it's really in your friend's price range, but you're welcome to come and look. And I said, all right, well, we'll just come. You know, what else are we going to do? Yeah. That ended up being the house that me and my husband and we ended up buying. Goodness. So that's where I'm living now. Yeah. And the funny thing was, the reason why is because it had the key thing that made me go, yes, this is the house for us, was it had a dragonfly. And I love dragonflies. Dragonflies are like one of my symbols of like right place, right time, you know, like it's spirit talking and all that kind of stuff. And there was a dragonfly, and we've still got it on the door, kind of like fishing wired onto the door, like a little ornament. And I just went, this is our house because there's a dragonfly here. And I always ask for dragonflies to be one of my signs. And it was just there on the door. And then I noticed all these other things about the house that was suddenly like deep signs of like, this is for us. Like just because I walked into the office, which was actually this room here, and there was certificates on the wall, and I read the name on the certificate and I went, I think I know the lady who's selling this, which it's not hard not to know. 1 degree of separation in Broome anyway. But anyway, lo and behold, there was a whole lot of other than signs just started popping up going, yes, 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 yes. Like not only just ticking boxes, but it turned out to be like what this, you know, so the universe in that morning said no to the truck, yes to a house.
Oh, I'm goosebumping everywhere. And I'm totally going to take what you've just shared as a sign to share what I experienced.
Oh, so please.
I read thank you. I read an amazing book called The Universe Has Your Back. I think it's by Gabriella Bernstein. I'm not sure if you've read it. Anyway, I read it in May last year and said to universe, please just give me a sign that my life is on the right track. You know, you often wonder sometimes because you, as business owners, we're so focused, we're so driven, and we just think, oh my gosh, am I going guns blazing for nothing? Or should I just, you know, back it all off and do something else? Anyway, I asked for an orange dragonfly. And don't ask me why. Don't ask me why. Orange dragonfly. Yep. So I've been looking for this thing for a very, very long time. Anyway, I made a very, very big life decision in April, a very, very profound life decision. And I just, in my core, I'll try not to crawl over you, knew that this was the right decision. And anyway, I made the decision on a Wednesday. I went outside the next morning. On my grass was a swarm of orange dragonflies. I kid you not. I get emotional thinking about it. And my mom was with me and I said, Mom, I was like, are those orange or am I seeing things? She's like, no, they're orange. So absolutely unbelievable. So thank you for what you've shared because that was a sign that I needed to share what I experienced. But I fully believe in it.
I'm getting confirmation as well.
Yeah.
Amazing. And I think that's what the thing is like. I would like to like add a little thing there about signs and symbols from the universe. Ask for the sign and symbol, but just allow it to come through in whichever way it's meant to. So if you do pick for yourself, it was an orange dragonfly, we automatically suddenly like radaring around going, where's the orange dragonfly? Where is it? Where is it? I just want confirmation this is right. Where is it? Rather than maybe accepting like maybe there wasn't going to be an orange dragonfly. What happened if it was a blue one, you know? But knowing that the orange dragonfly might come to you in in a way that's not orange. Not, it would be orange, but it might not be physically a dragonfly. It may be a picture or a
Yes.
sign. Like for me, it was a sign on the door. It wasn't that was a
Yeah.
dragonfly flying around that day. It was stuck on the
It was
door.
on the
You know, like,
door.
welcome
Wow.
to your new house.
Yeah.
You know, so I think when it comes to signs and symbols, definitely ask for them and trust that they will be there. Ask for in a way that I did, like when I'm on my holiday, just give us a sign that this is or isn't the right thing for us. And the universe clearly showed us. If it was the right thing, I don't know what it would have done to say this is the right like direction or place. But if you have chosen something specific, like people like choose butterflies or feathers or dragonflies or a shell or a certain number, just have the awareness that it can come through in ways that you never thought. Maybe it's a book on the shelf, a picture on the wall, someone shows you a photo they took and it's, you know, on Instagram or something like that, that, you know, your orange dragonfly might become on a bedspread or something like that. You know, like you never know how it's going to come. But when we're constantly lasering around trying to look for it, the universe is like, oh, well, they just let it be. Like, let me, I've got this. I will give you the sign when the time is right. Trust me on this. So
yeah, and I can attest to that as well.
Yeah, definitely a deep level of just trust and letting go, and knowing that when you do see it, that is the truth. That is your truth. So yeah,
and it's like you said, the universe will definitely make it known that that is the sign, because like I said, there was a whole swarm of them. Like I just asked for one.
Well, that's pretty profound. Like you can't ignore that it was just one fluttering past. They were just all over the place, right?
Pretty much. So I was like, I broke down in tears. My mom's like, what's going on? And I told my mom, and then she was in tears.
Oh,
it was just so profound, and just a sign that I knew that I'd made the right decision.
I love
it. So
yeah, what a beautiful confirmation for you that it was in like that intensity as well. It wasn't like, we'll just put one just in case you miss it. We'll just give you many. So you definitely get the idea.
Yeah, and it was absolutely amazing. Like literally as I walked out, they were all on the grass, walked closer to check the colors, and they kind of just all kind of flew off. It was just so perfect. I couldn't have asked for a better sign. So
beautiful.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing, Anna.
Oh, you're welcome. Look, I mean, let's just say, like in business or whether it's in life, we all love hearing those stories and anecdotes and reminders that we're not alone and that we are supported and that we can seek guidance from some sort of higher consciousness or belief or realm, if you want to say, and that it's okay to have that and actually play with that within business as well. And I think that's something that I love to incorporate within my mindset coaching, is that we are working with spirit, we are working with your higher self and your soul purpose. We are working with those other elements of yourself, because we are physical matter, we are emotional and we're mental. There are other elements of ourselves, but we are also energetic and we're spiritual beings. So we need to look at ourselves and encompass all those aspects of ourselves. We can't disregard one and just solely focus on something else.
No.
One thing I've sort of feel like I think we're all shifting into is that realization that we are energetic and we are spiritual, and it's okay to have those connections in whatever they may be, or to explore them if you haven't, because, you know, for many years we've been told, you know, work on your physical health, you know, life is all about maintaining a healthy diet, drinking plenty of water, getting sunshine, going for walks, you know, 10,000 steps, do your Pilates, yoga, whatever it is. Yeah, exactly. Meditation through, you know, let's look after our mental health now. Let's talk about, openly talk about our mental health. You know, if people have anxiety or depression or they're stressed, you know, seek therapy, seek someone you can talk to, get counseling. It's okay. You don't have to live alone or in the shadows of these burdening conditions. You can seek support, and it's okay. And then now there's, like, I feel like the shift, and what I feel like would be great to see more come through is, let's work on your energetic side. Let's work on your spiritual side. Let's work on this aspect of you that isn't just gifted to one person or the other. Like, we are all energetic. We are all spiritual. And that this is, if we all had that ability to tap into and trust your intuition, trust and connect to soul and your spirit, you would probably find navigating some things in life so much more easier and more
Mm.
exciting and abundant than what we shut ourselves down to, because that's how we've been conditioned. So
Yeah.
I honestly believe that in business, that spiritual side, that energetic side or energy, it goes hand in hand. Like you can't separate one from the other. Having a really great intuition or relationship with spirit can help you make really great decisions, can help you, can empower you, can help you navigate challenges within the workplace, can help you feel grounded, connected, more inspired, all those things towards creating and having a successful business as well.
And Anna, what would your advice be to someone who potentially is quite disconnected or has never connected with their spiritual side? You know, they're good at what they do. They, you know, they're great in the business world, but they haven't quite, I don't want to say, they maybe quite haven't embraced that spiritual side of things.
Yeah.
What would your advice be to someone like that?
I'd probably say just have an open mind, be open and willing to explore, because my version of spirituality might not be the same as yours or the next person's. Be open and willing to explore and have fun, really. I'm currently leading a 5-week spiritual development course, and it's a really great opportunity for people to come and just learn or reconnect to spirit.
Awesome. Yeah.
Tap into their spirituality, to source connect, that kind of thing. Have fun playing with oracle cards and pendulums, and do psychometry and coffee cup readings and things like that. Like
love it.
all the things that I know. It's like when my girlfriends and I come over and we're all like, we'll get together and we're like got our oracle cards out and we've got some incense and sage and we're meditating. My husband's just looking at us going, it's like girls playing with dolls and dolls' houses. I said, yeah, but we love this, you know, and he loves it too. He really does. But be open and willing to explore and have fun with it. Like, it doesn't have to be serious, and it's not like you have to commit to anything. This is just an aspect and part of you that is there and has always been there, and you're just taking time to unlock it. So there may be some uncomfortable revelations or feelings or experiences. There may be some really joyous and maybe elations, and maybe like fully like those aha moments of like, now that all makes sense. I know for a fact, I know many of us, regardless to what your level of beliefs of whatever are, we all have those stories. I'm sure we all have those stories where you may have seen something happened. Grandma was she read teacup leaves or something like that, whatever. We all have those stories somewhere. And that really actually amazed me. It was like years ago, I was at one of those MLM parties. I can't remember what it was for. I think it was for essential oils or something. And it just got round in the conversation about people's experiences with ghosts or spirits. And it was like everybody had a story, no matter where they came from or what their beliefs were. Everybody had like a ghost kind of story. And it made me realize that regardless to what your thoughts are, what your background is, or what your beliefs are, we all have that kind of those stories or those experiences where maybe we do or don't believe them. But I feel like be open, and within the openness, that, as they say, when the student is ready, the teacher will come. Maybe it is starting with just reading some classic easy books such as The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho, The Secret by Rhonda Byrne, even of the book Gabrielle Bernstein. Like, there's so many authors out there, even something Oprah's written pretty much a lot of spiritual books, you could say. Deepak Chopra. There's a whole lot of things. Like, start with some books, maybe start with some podcasts, maybe look for a course or something that might be happening in your area where you can just start connecting with like-minded groups. Because I think when we come together, and if I looked at all the participants in this current round I'm offering, there are different levels, but they're all here because they've got that connection of like-minded interest. And one lady, I feel like she's very new to this, but very open and very interested to learn more. Whereas we've got another 2 ladies that, they could probably run a whole business doing what they do, like from tarot readings to psychic readings to energy healing or whatever. But for whatever it is, they're not, and they just want to be in this group to reignite that, or just to have fun in what they're doing. So, you know, look for things that would be of interest. I would have to say, just briefly, my own journey into the realm of spirituality and energy healing started when I was a massage therapist. I was working at a day spa. I had a beautiful crew who I worked with, and a lot of the girls there, they were very spiritual minded. They were into Reiki, into meditation, yoga, health and well-being in a really deeper spiritual way, and they actually helped guide me. So they gave me books. Another one that's a really good one is Many Lives, Many Masters by Dr. Brian Weiss. So he's it's a great one. He's a psychiatrist in America, and he wrote a book. This was his first one, through his experience of hypnosis with one particular client, where he didn't even know this. I think he had some elements of knowing that he had some sort of spiritual connection, but didn't really understand what it was. He's a doctor. He's in science, right? He's a psychiatrist. You know, so he used hypnosis as one of his tools to help within his therapy sessions with these clients. But he actually found with this one particular client, she was going into these levels deeper that he didn't know or couldn't connect them to being in her actual current life. But she was able to go back to all these, what he established were lifetimes.
Oh, wow.
And unravel that the current situations and problems that were playing out in her life now were actually tail end, tag along, like remnants of all these past lives, and that the same story had cycled somewhat through those lifetimes and was still coming out through here. So they were able to establish what the problem was and heal that, so that she was able to move forwards in this lifetime in the better version that she could be. And then from then he started, you could say, I wouldn't say experimenting, but he learned through case studies that some people, again, they were going into these past life sessions. He was able to develop and lead them in a past life hypnosis, and that helped people understand why they were who they were in this lifetime. So that was a very profound book for me as well. That really helped me understand about the soul, spirit, why we come into this lifetime and past lives. So there's so many books that you could easily read just to get you started and to open. And I feel like once you open yourself to the possibility, and that's all it is, possibilities, there is an abundance of information, courses, learning, teachers, connections that can just flow in from there. And it's just being open-minded right from the start.
And Anna, your sound healing, I would say that's probably a tool to kind of open that realm as well.
Oh, absolutely. So sound healing is the other leg of my business. If you've got two avenues, but I do love to merge them together. So sound bath healing is a beautiful way of not only stilling and calming the mind and relaxing the body through the central nervous system, but it's also a really beautiful way to connect to spirit, to higher consciousness, to yourself. I've had people come to my sessions and experience all different ranges. From one end of just feeling more regulated in their nervous system, more relaxed, less anxious in their mind, like they feel calmer, a sense of renewal, to other people who have said, wow, I just went on a journey and I just got so many messages and an understanding of this, that, and the other. Like, thank you. And I've had a mixture of people in between. So sound bath healing in itself is a beautiful form of meditation as well as energy healing. So in my sessions, I play a specific set of crystal singing bowls called Alchemy crystal singing bowls, which are a mixture of clear crystal quartz and then other semi-precious metals, earth stones, gems, crystals, and they all different blends make different sounds, different notes, different intentions, different healing, and but combined and with the intention of the meditation or the process, I'm able to lead people in a group or individuals through a sense of energy healing. So it might be just literally just working on your chakras, your energy centers, and just helping to align and reharmonize them through sound. science is showing that sound actually can bring us back into our own harmonic state or frequency or vibration, and that through all sorts of experiences in our lives, like emotions, feelings, traumatic events, can actually shift and change our frequency or vibration. And that's when we can feel discomfort or dis-ease within ourselves. Things like that can then attribute to physical problems and lead us into other health and well-being problems or situations, but bringing us back into a place of rest and relaxation through sound, and sound is a vibration, can actually work on our own signature vibration. So I love to use sound because of the way that it just allows people to drop straight into a place of rest and relaxation.
Yeah.
Sometimes in meditation, you may experience this as yourself, Tracy, that we can have lots more thoughts come through. We can feel agitated, discomfort, that we don't want to be there, like it's hard, I'm not good at this. Whereas when you lie down to listen to some gentle, relaxing, calming music, so to speak, you're able to step out of that present moment and into a deeper place of rest. Works on our brainwave states, and that's what happens when we're getting ready to go to bed and go to sleep. We're moving through different brainwave states, and sound can actually help us move through that quicker and faster than what we would naturally in our own waking time. So within that, sound in itself just has this amazing impact on our health and well-being, but also can help deepen that spiritual connection as well. When we're out of our thinking mind, when we're out of that part of our mind that is critical, logical, analytical, it's the day-to-day aspect of us, we're able to tap into those deeper realms of our mind and largely have that open up that connection to spirit or the soul or whatever you would like to connect to.
Yeah, and it is so powerful. If you haven't done a sound healing, I highly recommend it. For me, what I loved is that you, firstly, the time goes so fast. It's like your mind goes elsewhere. And like you said as well, focusing on the sound, the energy of the sound, the vibration, I found it a lot easier as opposed to trying to meditate in the quieter mode. I'm still trying to master that. But yes, sound healing, it's absolutely incredible. And I always find when I do something like that, what follows the few days after is always something really magical or something that's just too gentle. It kind of opens up something really good. It'll either be through something someone says, or someone might share with you something that they've been holding in for so long. And I think, when we lead the way and, put ourselves through certain things, we lead the way for others to kind of do the same. So it's very, very powerful. I'm a big, big fan of what you do.
Oh, thank you. Oh, I love it. I would have to say this was the other avenue that came out of in the COVID times. And there's often times where I pinch myself and I go, I'm getting paid to help people relax, and I play bowls, which I enjoy. It's my form of creativity. It's something that I love so much, and people feel amazing from this. Like, again, if my future self had told my 18-year-old self, one day you're going to be leading these meditations using crystal bowls, I'd be like, yeah, you're whacked. Get out. You're weird. Who are you? That's not life.
And there's something I saw on your website. You do sound healing with hammocks. Is that correct?
Yes. So
I wanted to ask.
So one of the so I offer, basically I do a weekly sound bath. It's usually on a Sunday, and I alternate it between two venues in town. So one of them is in what's called the Buddha Sanctuary, which is a beautiful yoga space with a very large, I don't know how big it is. It's huge. She sits in a massive big temple, quartz crystal Buddha. But the grounds are beautiful. It's a beautiful sanctuary, and basically people come and it's just a yoga space. They lie on the floor and experience the sound bath in that kind of traditional sense. And then the other place that I alternate with is called the Hangar. So it's the aerial fitness studio here in Broome, where they offer like aerial fitness or silk fitness programs and exercise sessions. But what they asked me if I wanted to do, and I just thought was a great idea, is that offer a sound bath while people just lie in the hammock. So there's no exercise. You only have to get in or out. That's the only physical effort you have to make. But for an hour, you lie in the hammock and you're just gently supported, and the sounds can just really wash in and around and over you. And I love those sessions just as equally as the other ones, but these ones are a lot of fun because I actually walk around a lot more. I feel like the sound can come up and around, and you get more of a 360 kind of experience.
Kind of floating almost.
Yeah, and people just love it. They love the feeling of just being like floating and effortlessness. I love to give everybody, if they don't get if they don't experience any nausea, like when you're lying, like do a little bit of a swing, for those who don't like swinging, you don't get swung, but there's a little bit of swinging, a gentle push, and you get that beautiful rocking feeling while you're lying in the hammock. And there's something really magic about just lying back in a hammock. Am I right? You go on holidays and you see a hammock, you just want to lie in it, and it's just that sense of being somewhere else. It's not a bed, it's not a floor, it's not a couch or a chair, and you're being held. And that's what that kind of beautiful feeling emerges and gets emphasized when you're listening to a deeply relaxing sound bath. I've had so many people fall asleep in there, snore their head off. Yeah, it's beautiful. So I love to alternate between the two venues just to mix it up and keep things different. And because some people love lying on the floor at the Buddhist sanctuary, and some people love the hammocks. Like we all have our different preferences. And it just makes also me a bit of a point of difference in town, as there is another sound bath healer in town. There's two of us, which is amazing. We do work together. We do collaborate a lot, which is great. But it's just my other point of difference that I do this, and it makes it a bit different, a bit special.
Yeah. Any plans to do a workshop in Perth or a retreat in Perth?
One day.
I'm like, let me know.
Yeah.
I'll wrap
honestly, it's honestly the way I see my business going over the next period of time is that I would definitely be moving into the realm of running retreats. And what I would love to do is moving into a place where I'm going to be teaching a level 1 practitioner sound bath healer training. So people will be able to get accredited training through me to become a sound bath healer and run that through a retreat experience, or whether it's just here in Broome. But that's definitely the avenue where I see that element of my business growing, and to do more retreats with the spiritual development aspect and things like that. So I'm sure there'll be a time. And also, I love the idea of traveling around with my bowls. So I will definitely be heading to Perth one day with the bowls. I will let you know, Tracy, and we'll do a big session together. I want to see your
bowls. That sounds amazing.
Yeah. It'll be lots of fun.
Anna, if there was one piece of advice you could give your 18-year-old self, what would it be?
Oh my goodness. Just one?
We'll have to get you back on next year, so just one for now. But yes, or two.
I would say definitely, in hindsight of all the things that I've experienced from 18 up until I'm 44 now, would be stick to your guns, stick to what you want to do. Don't follow the masses, and just stay true to yourself. Like in a nutshell, within all of that, is just stay true to yourself. If this is something that you want to do it. Don't be influenced or swayed by anybody else. Know that that's what you want to do. My goodness, if that had come through, who knows where my life would have led me. It's those sliding door moments, right? But just stay true to what you believe and what you want to do, and don't let anybody deter you from not doing it.
Thank you, Anna. I felt like you're speaking into my soul there. And you look amazing for 44. Oh my goodness.
Oh, thank you.
I would have said like early 30s, if ever. My gosh, teach me your ways.
Oh, thank you so much. Well, I am 30, 31, 33 in my, biological sense. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, and I have to say, I just love the sense of magic and spirituality and the energy that you bring to the business world. I've so loved our conversation today. And if our listeners didn't need it, I definitely needed it. So thank you so much for everything that you've shared, and keep doing what you're doing. Again, that sense of magic and I want to say revitalization. That word's coming to mind that you really bring, to the business world. It's really great to see.
Thank you so much, Tracy. I've just loved our conversation today, and thank you for having me on the show.
Of course. Well, for our listeners, we'll pop all the links in the show notes. And like I said, we'd love to have you on again next year. I think we could chat for days.
100%.
Thanks, Anna. Chat soon.
Thank you.